Hey everybody, this is Strange. Today we're going to talk about the new version of a compliance editor that we're rolling out in HotUtils. So for you TW officers, the people who maintain your TW templates, this is probably going to be of use to you. Not so much use for the people who run against the bots, but those who create the templates. Hopefully we're rolling out a tool that's easier for you to use and gives you a little performance boost. Before we do that, we will jump into that, but people who are new to templates, I wanted to give a quick overview and discussion of what they are. A template is a set of unit-based tests, so it can involve things like stats, speed, health, protection, relic levels. This unit has to be above relic level 5, this unit has to be above gear level 10, a unit has to have this zeta or that zeta, and you create a set of tests that your guild can run, and then players can run it against their roster, and it will tell them, these are the tests you pass and these are the tests you don't pass. Or officers can run it against an entire guild and just say, like, these are the players that pass all the tests, and these are the players that fail some tests, and the tests that they actually fail. So our most famous one is probably Cam. When people are trying to mod for the Cam mission, we have a template that says, these units have to have these stats and these mods. And territory war templates are very common too for the high-end guilds who want their members to meet certain modding or stat requirements. So let's jump in real quick. I'm going to go into the bot and show you how a player would run the template against their own roster. So here I am, I'm in Discord, and I'm going to show you how to run a bot real quick. I go ahead and I'm just in a private conversation with the Discord bot, but if you have this bot in one of your guild channels, or if you hop into the HotUtils Discord, you can run it there. You just go ahead and write /template test. You give it the name of the template that you want to test. Here I'm going to do 50 cam. You go ahead and hit enter. And what's happening now is it's looking up my account, and it is comparing the stats on my units as registered through HotUtils to the tests. And the 50 cam test, which I'm not modded for because I don't have that loadout on, it gives me a summary of all the tests I pass and then all the tests that I fail right here. The other way to run it is to go into our webpage. You can go under template execute, and you can select the template that you want to run. I'll go ahead and select under HotUtils. I'll select 50 cam, hit that. I'll go ahead and run tests. This is going to run the tests against my account, and it's going to present the results in a table here. That I can see which units I failed, and I can use tabs to get the summary of my failures. This has one player per row, and then the categories in this table. I can also flip that to have the categories here and the players on the right. So just depending on which way you like the table. You can also go ahead and run it against your entire guild, or you could select a guild or an ally. This one takes a little bit longer, but it will run the tests against your entire guild and give you the results back. And here you see, let's see if I flip it, I have all the players in my guild. I can go ahead and expand, see which ones they fail and which ones they pass. So the current way you can create those are through the bot. Like, there's a command line to do it, which requires some extensive knowledge of what the field names are, and you kind of have to know the exact formatting of the commands to do it. Or you can go through the web page, and the web page has the fields and drop downs, but the UI isn't really fast or easy to use. Let's take a look at that real quick. So let's look at the current UI for creating and editing templates. This is what we're replacing, but I'll kind of talk about what you can do. And we're going to leave it up there because it is very flexible, like I said before. But you would go ahead and you would find maybe a template that you wanted to edit. You'd select it here, you'd click the edit button. You could create tests if you knew the terminology by just adding them, selecting a category, and then adding them here and clicking create. Or if you wanted to maybe go into a category, you could say edit category, or I'm sorry, you could go into advanced, and you could select a unit, and then you could select the field, like if you wanted the level to be greater than 80, and then you could create tests. So this format and the way that we designed this was to have every single option possible through the populated drop downs. And there's lots of fields, and it's flexible because you could compare level to speed, and you could do all these kind of tests, but it was a little confusing and maybe not the easiest to use and easily maintain units. So what we did in the new design is we took a little bit of the flexibility away and are giving you an interface that is what 99% of the tests will be for. And then if you can't create a test through the new interface, you could come in here and use the advanced tools to create it. So let's go ahead and jump into the new compliance editor and talk about some of the new features. You'll see as you come here, you get the option to open an existing template or create a new one. Let's go ahead and create a new template, give it a template name. I'll call this my TW for September. Go ahead and click create. And the first thing we'll want to do is create a category. The suggested way to use this, the way that the UI is best designed, is to create one category per squad that you want your guildmates to use. So go ahead and click new group, and I'll give this a squad name. So maybe I'll make this my 501st, so I'll go 50RST. And then I can go ahead and create the group right now, but if I want to add units to it immediately, that'll help me a little bit. So I can go ahead and click search to select, and I can do a search for 501st, and then select all the 501st units that I want to add to this category. Go ahead and add those, and go ahead and create that. And what that does is, just for a placeholder, it creates tests for each of those units to be level 85. You can eventually delete them, but it just needs something to be in that category. So the layout's a little bit different. You'll see that each category has an expander here, and what we do is no matter what order that you create the tests in, this view is going to group them by unit and show you a summary on the main page. If you want your template to auto sort the tests like you see them visually here, make sure to check the auto sort button. If you want the tests to be in the order which you create them, you can just go ahead and uncheck this and manually move them in the existing template editor. But since it's easier for users to read, I like to go ahead and click auto sort, and then you won't have to worry about them visually being grouped by unit when your users use them. So to edit a unit, we're going to go ahead and click here, and whereas the old template editor was very flexible and it had the ability to compare, gear level to your speed, or compare the rarity level to your offense, we've created this UI to cover the 95% of what you want to do. So you can select all their Zetas here, whether it's required or desired. Let's go ahead and make this desired. You can set gear levels here. So either you want them to be like gear 12, so you could select click gear and then put 12, or you can select the relic level. So let's say I want a required relic level of 3, but I want an optional relic level of let's say 5. If there are any primaries that you want them to use for required or optional, you can put them in here. So let's say that I want him to have an offense cross, and it's preferable that he has an offense or crit damage triangle. You can select those here. Mod sets, these are the same philosophy that we have existing, but you can go ahead and just easily click them here. Let's say for optional, we want to go ahead and add mod set of offense. here. Now, the next section is for Minstats. We figured that probably most of the time what you're doing is you're just setting minimum stats for a unit. And so we've laid out all the kind of common minimum stats you have here in a table format similar to how we have in Playground, and you can just type the minimums here. What you also see up here is the unit that I have, and that unit, it shows his modding, and it also shows his stats over on the right. So you can take a look and kind of compare a unit that's in-game to what you're trying to set. If you want to go ahead and change that, you can. You can click here and then select Use a Different Player. If you do that, you can enter an ally code. You can enter like a guildmate or an ally that you know has a unit particularly well modded, and click Load. And then you can say, use this player's units for all units, and you can go ahead and type that in and click Apply, and then it'll pull that player's units in. But this way, it kind of helps hey, here's a Relic 8 Arc Trooper that's kind of modded how I want, and these are the stats that I want that unit to have. So let's say, I don't need everybody to have this speed, but we're kind of close to there, so maybe I put the speed at like 280 minimum, and let's say the health, I look at this and I want 60,000 here, so I can go ahead and set the minimum here. And then maybe physical damage, maybe you want an optional physical damage of over 10,000, so I'll just put that right here. Then this section is meant to do your minimum stats, so just like I want this stat to be this stat or above. Anything that's relative, you put in the advanced stats. And the layout of this might take a little getting used to, but it's similar to Playground. So you can go ahead and click New. And let's say I want my Arc Trooper to be, I want my Arc Trooper to go before my Echo, for instance. So what I could do is I could just put 0 here in the minimum, and then in my compare unit I can type Echo, I can select Echo, and you'll kind of see here the Arc Trooper speed is greater than or equal to Echo speed. You can also type in like left or right expression, so you could do like +10, and it'll be Arc Trooper speed +10 is greater than or equal to Echoes. So hopefully this layout is similar to Playground, but it was the hardest for me to get working, so if you have any issues with it, feel free to just shoot me a message on Discord, and I'll fix it, because converting between the two wasn't the easiest, but I like this layout a little bit more. But let's just say we want Arc Trooper speed to be greater than or equal to Echo speed. That's an advanced stat. So we have all these stats filled out, and we go ahead and we click the Save button. And what this is going to do is it's going to create tests, all of these tests that I've selected for my Arc Trooper unit. Since this is the first time, it takes a little bit longer because there's a lot of different tests. As you go and modify it, it takes shorter and shorter. So what you see now is this advanced stat has moved from being the box to being this, the description. You can't edit it, but you can go ahead and create a new required, and if you want to delete this, you can go ahead and click this. It's not deleted until you hit the save button. I can click it again to undo that. But let's go ahead and go back to my main page. It's not changed because I hit the deleted button, but I'll go ahead and continue. And now you'll see all these tests that I had selected are now in the normal format, and you can delete them by clicking on the delete button. So it groups them and it gives you a view. Another thing I'll point out real quick is you can go ahead and click the next button to cycle through the units in the template, so you can kind of quickly go through them and select all their preferences. Talk briefly about the importing, because we did some work on that. If you click the import button up here, it will allow you to import multiple categories from another template. So I'm going to go ahead and click that. Let me find my maybe June review, and I had a JMK and a Lord Vader categories, or maybe let's take resistance and first order. So I can select those two, and it's going to import those entire categories into the tool. Oh, need to fix that. It says deleting tests, but it's actually copying. So now you'll get the 501st here, and you have the imported resistance and first order categories that I had in my other template. You haven't the ability to import units from another template. You can go ahead and click on that here. And let's say I go in LSTB and I click on this. And now what you get after you click it the first time and you expand the category is you actually get to select the unit that you want to import. And what this does is it imports all of the tests for that unit. And if you had multiple units underneath here, I don't know, my particular setup for these templates don't only have one. It will import all of the tests for that unit. Now, a word of caution: if you've got you already have this unit that's in there and you import the unit over it, you'll get like kind of a duplication, and that the application may work a little bit odd. So my suggestion would be, if you're going to add a unit, kind of import first and then make your changes after that. It'll work like a little smoother. But I'll go ahead and import those two units. So we hope you enjoy this new version. The big changes we made design-wise to it are that we're grouping the tests by unit, and that we're allowing you to click on the unit and kind of see all the tests that are there pre-populated and then save it. And then also, I think the nice win in this version is that we're allowing you to put the unit's stats in the table, and that should, give you an idea when you're evaluating what to put for the unit in there. If you find any issues with the tool, feel free to reach out to us on Discord. You can tag me or DM me directly, but we hope this is easier to use.